Best afternoon, everyone. Welcome to ITCG Connected Webinar Take 1 Cinematic Storytelling. Now, today I will be your host and moderator just like the previous webinars. Okay, now let's proceed. Now, before we begin, I would like to remind our dear audience of some of our house rules or reminders throughout this webinar. So first, we would like everyone to observe proper netiquette. Of course, we want you to control your voice and use your mic only when necessary. Profanities are, of course, strictly prohibited. So later, after our intermission, after the presentation intermission, we will have our question and answer with our dear speaker. So you may type any questions or concerns you have in the chat box. And of course, we want you to enjoy yourselves and of course, share what you have learned in our webinar. Okay, so just like in the email that we have sent you, this webinar will be recorded and of course shared online in our website. However, if you want us to edit or remove any sensitive information you may have shared, do not hesitate to message us on Twitter on the Twitter handle at ITCGMaxHi. ITCG values your privacy and will ensure that this webinar will be a safe and comfortable place for sharing and of course learning. So, so again, thank you everyone. Now I would like to express gratitude to our dear speaker, students, and alumni for making time and participating in our webinar. We believe that we should still continue our role in advocacy to guide and help our fellow students. The first few parts of our connected series of discussion webinars focused on growing and what to do after studying in a STEM-focused school as an artist and as a student. In today's webinar, we will learn more about filmmaking with the help of our speaker as he shares his knowledge and experience as a filmmaker. I would like to also congratulate our dear Kami newly graduates who are with us today in this webinar. You truly deserve. Now, without further ado, I would like to introduce our dear speaker for today. He is currently taking Bachelor of Arts Film in University of the Philippines, Diliman. He graduated with high honors in Polytechnic University of the Philippines, Manila. He was also awarded Pinakamahusay sa larangan ng Malikaing Pagsulat, and he was also awarded an Outstanding Star and Layout Artist of the Year in Manila Science High School. Everyone, let us all meet Mr. JT Trinidad. So
Hi
hello Kuya
guys.
JT.
Hi.
So thank you for being with us here. So
Sure.
again, guys, let's all welcome Kuya JT as he shares his experience as a filmmaker. So Kuya JT, you may now take the floor. Thank you.
Yeah. Hi guys, everyone. So first, I want to thank ITCG for inviting me. This is a good opportunity since I really want to talk about film. Though I'm not sure if I can call myself a filmmaker because, yeah. So it's weird, pero yan. I'm gonna start with my presentation already. Is it possible to do games like right now? Wait, yan. Nagpe-present na ba?
Yes, po.
Okay. So, with my PowerPoint, I planned it to make like black and white lang kasi mahirap mag-film. Mahirap magkaroon ng contrast ng colors para makapag-focus tayo sa film. So, before tayo mag-start, I really can see you guys, but if you can turn on your mics, it's better. I did a mini game, so here. So, go guess them. Guess the films. Like, I'll show you film stills, then just guess what film is that. Can you do that? Or, yeah. First film.
Okay, so to our audience, yes. Mm,
Meron ba? Or,
So to our dear audience, chat box, you have any idea kung nahiya kayong magsalita?
Pakisabi na lang sa akin if may
Chat
sumagot or
box.
something. Go, guys.
Okay, so let's see.
Wala.
So audience, let's count to three. Kung meron nakakaalam ng movie. Okay, so sa chat box,
One.
so far kuya, wala pa nagko-comment, no?
Okay.
One.
Two.
Okay, we have Marriage Story from Christine Saldivar. Is it correct, Kuya JT?
No, this is, ano, well, when I show films, ano na rin to, recommendation ko na rin sa inyo. So, these
Take
are the
note,
films that
guys.
I really like. So, it's Happy Old Year 2019. You guys can watch it on Netflix. So, if you guys have time,
Okay.
go have, ano.
Okay, so
Tapos,
mag-Netflix and chill.
go. This
Okay, so
one,
next movie.
meron ba? 3,
Okay, so
2,
far wala.
1. Okay, wala rin. Oh my gosh. This is Barber's Tales 2012 by June Robles Lana. Take note, guys.
Okay,
So,
take
yeah.
note.
Next one.
So wala. Audience, chat box.
3, 2, 1. This is a film by Dwayne Baltazar, 2018. Gusto kita with all my hypothalamus. So,
Okay.
Famas Award yan, Best Picture. So, I think meron sa Pirata. Di joke lang. That's bad. Di joke lang. Pero this one, sana may makahula sa inyo.
Okay, guys. You know the
Don't be
movie?
shy.
Roma. So from Kuya Jeremy Pelvi, we have Roma Rao. Is it correct,
Yes,
Kuya JT?
yes. It's correct.
Okay, Roma.
Congrats. It's Roma, 2018, a film by Alfonso Cuarón. It's parang before Parasite, ito yung medyo maingay na mananalo raw ng Best Picture, pero hindi siya nanalo. 2018 was Shape of Water ata. Ay, hindi. Ay, Ay, hindi ko alam. Masaya. So,
Okay.
this film talk, no, it's gonna be more of an overview kung paano tayo gumagawa ng maiikling pelikula. Ito, hindi naman necessarily na susundin nyo talaga siya. Kasi may kanya-kanya tayong paraan kung paano nagbuwa ng pelikula. Pero sa paraang alam ko at ng mga kasama ko, since ang film is a collaborative work, so we must remember that na hindi lang sa director ang credit ng pelikula. Maaring feudalistic ang pagtingin na to na ang director ang may-ari ng pelikula o ang producer. Pero kailangan nating malaman muna na bago tayo gumawa ng pelikula ay andyan yung mga tao na nagtulong-tulong para mabuo yung pelikula. So ganito, ipapakita ko lang sa inyo yung mga steps in a way and kung paano na rin tayo, more on technical and how do we make films in a very meaningful way. So, yan. So first, I want to give you a brief history of filmmaking. How did it start? So, ito yung hindi naman siya first film, pero it's one of the first few films. It's La Rive d'un Tren on Gare de la Cité, 1896 ng Lumiere Brothers. If you're familiar with this video, ang tawag dito ay actualities. So before, filmmakers would like to capture yung mga real life situations, ganyan. Pero it's kind of a scripted. So ayan, very this film, akala nila horror to nung pinalabas siya sa cinema, nung unang since I can show you the video right now, pero it's a train passing by. So akala ng mga tao, tatamaan sila ng train. So very, very, hilarious yung mga ganong pangyari noon na parang, how can we see na nag-start yung film? So we can say na dito pa lang, no, na film is really a visual medium. Kung paano siya nag-arise. Wala siyang sounds, kundi moving pictures. So ganun yung very history ng film from the very beginning. So, it's visual storytelling. So, next. Ito naman yung A Trip to the Moon, 1902 ni George Méliès. It's the first sci-fi film, I think, na parang kino-consider. Kasi ang ginagawa ni Méliès, we all know, kaya siya tinawag na filmmaking, kasi gumagawa tayo ng film, yung celluloids, Before, di ba ganun traditional? Kasi ngayon, ang ginagawa natin ay digital filmmaking. So before, para magkaroon sila ng visual effects, ang ginagawa nila, pinipinturahan talaga nila yung film. So, very tedious work siya. I know. So, sobrang hirap nun, no? Pero siya, nagagawa na yun. Sadly, maraming film similye na hindi na rin na-restore, hindi na rin nakita kasi nasunog, as far as I know. So, ayan. So, paano ba natin? This film is from Parasite. As we all know, the best picture ng Oscars na marami ring awards. When we talk about visual storytelling, makikita natin na sa frame pa lang, may sinasabi na siya. And what I really like about this film when I first watched this is nakita ko yung parallelism dito. Ang ganda ng paggamit ng cinematography. If you can see this, pinakita kung ano ba yung nakikita ng mga Parks at ng mga Kims. So, yung Kims, yung poor family, yung Park, yung rich family sa Parasite. And we can see, no, na through the use of windows, of lights, nakita natin na parang ano ba yung nakikita nila ng mga mahihirap at ng mga mayaman sa Korea. Na parang sa mga mahihirap, ang nakikita nila, hindi sila pwedeng pumili ng mga na pwede nilang ilagay sa nakikita nila. Pwedeng umiihing tao, pwedeng baha. Sa parks naman, pwedeng sila mag-set up ng tent, pwede silang tumingin na parang peaceful ang lahat. So, we can see here na sobrang powerful ng visual sa film. So, first and foremost, yun ang pinagkaiba ng theater at film. Film is a visual medium, pero gumagamit din tayo ng audio. Pero theater kasi is more of sounds talaga eh. So, kung mapapansin nyo, mas mabibigat ang dialogues ng theater since malaki yung sakap eh. And yung film may power siya to close up, to focus, to emphasize through the shots. So we have this basic stages of filmmaking, no? Pre-production, production, and post-production. So, ito yung ituturo ko sa inyo. And I hope you guys, after this, can do films na. And actually, kahit naman wala ka nito, ng lessons na to, pwede mo siyang makapa. You can have your own, parang description na rin kung anong pwede mong gawin. So, yeah. So, pre-prod. We call it pre-prod, pre-production. Basically, before shooting. So, lahat ng pagkaplano, ng ginagawa before shoot, ito yung mga So, yan. I'm gonna discuss this. So, ayan yung mga basic terms. So, mamaya, ipapalawigin ko pa kung ano yung mga ibig sabihin ng terms na yan para malaman natin kung ano ba yung mga roles. Pero these are the people who are behind this production. So, yan. Screenplay. Very important ang screenplay. It's called puso ng pelikula since it's the blueprint of the film. When you call blueprint, ito yung plano, ito yung vision, ito yung lahat. Though, ang pagsulat ng screenplay ay hindi isang madaling bagay. May format tayong sinusunod, may standard na format. Pero depende pa rin talaga sa inyo kung or masyado lang akong hindi purist para ayaw sa standards. Pero yun, meron tayong standards and I'm gonna teach that to you then. So yun. When we write films, mahalaga nating malaman kung ano yung kwento natin, kung para kanino natin siya sinusulat, kung ano yung magiging tahakin ng pelikula. So, going back, since ito yung puso ng pelikula, dapat kabisado natin to. Dapat para siyang Bible of the film people in the production, basically. So, first, when you write a story, para kanino ba natin siya sinusulat? Pero before going there, dapat nating malaman na maraming uri ng pelikula. At hindi lang siya nakukulong doon sa narrative style. Meron tayong tinatawag na experimental, at iba pang forma, documentary and such, but I'm going to teach you the narrative style since it's the most conventional and I think yun yung pinaka gusto nating matutuhan when we're starting, diba? So, yun una, kailangan nating malaman kung para kanino ba natin sinusulat o ginagawa ang pelikula. Para ba sa sarili mo, para ba sa bayan, para ba sa pinsan mo, para kung kani-kanino. Kasi ganito, nakikita natin yung target audience eh. Masaset natin yung mood ng pelikula, masaset natin yung mga characters, masaset natin yung trajectory ng films, yung story, and all. So, yun. When we start, of course, may idea ang pinagmulan. So, para mas ma-explain ko siya ng maigi, I'm going to talk about this film. This is a 1-minute short film that we did. It's Boom Tiyaya. It competed sa Cinema 1-minute student short film. So, yun. So, paano ba? Wala pang 1 week yung preparation namin sa film na to. Kasi nag-meeting lang kami ng friend ko sa isang org. Then parang sabi na yung isa raw namin kaklase sa sali. Sabi ko, gusto ko na rin sumali. Ganyan. Tapos nag-iisip kami ng kwento. Tapos meron akong vision sa utak ko na I wanna see two people na nagtatawid. Wala, yun lang yung una kong gusto, tumatawid. And parang gusto ko lang siya maging visual metaphor of something. And then I remember watching a video, trigger warning violence. So, ayun. May nakita kong video sa Twitter na binubugbog ng tatay yung anak niya dahil lang nakita na nakikipagsayaw sa isang guy. So it's a guy to guy na experience na happening. So binugbog na yung anak niya. Parang sabi ko, bakit ganito ang kinakaharap, no? Parang it's very struggle na problematic na ganito ang nakikita natin. And hindi siya nakakatulong sa LGBTQIA+ community para ma-alleviate yung kanilang struggles or feelings or anxieties with this world. So, I thought of making a film that's about acceptance. So, ayan, if we're going to parang ano ba yung dapat, ano yung politika ng film, ano ba yung dapat na gawin para kapag may ganitong pangyayari, pag may LGBTQIA+ community. And ito yung ginawa natin. So, ayun, sana if you guys have watched this, sana naging effective siya in a way. So, doon, nakita natin na may inspiration, and isa pang inspiration ko dito is yung pinsan ko na madalas ko rin nakikita na pinapagalitan ng magulang dahil feminine kumilos, dahil nagsusuot ng pambabae, dahil nagtatali ng buhok. So, yun, it's a combination of personal and what I see around. So, I think paano natin gumagawa ng film, paano tayo nag-arrive sa ganitong concept is we observe sa community natin. We observe what are the stories that we must tell sa mas nakakarami. Since film is a very powerful tool of communication and yeah, it's really So second, after doing that, na-inspire ka na, you have your idea, of course, you must know kung patungkol saan yung sinusulat mo. And meron tayong tinatawag sa pelikula. Kung familiar kayo sa mga loglines, ganyan. Ang logline. Ito yung mga one-liners sa films na nakikita natin, na binabasa para ma-inform natin yung audiences. If ano ba yung tungkol ba sa anong pelikula. So usually, dan tayo nagsisimula magsulat. After you have the concept, we do the logline. So, ayan. So, ito yung logline ng Boom Tiyaya. As a child was innocently playing with their friends, an interruption comes along. So, ganyan lang siya. 1 minute. And meron ba makakahula kung anong logline ito? Kung kaninong film to? 4 sisters try to stop the wedding of their younger brother, and in doing so, all discover resentments among each other. So, if you guys can guess, go type it sa chat box lang.
Okay, so Kuya, ang dami agad nakahula is it 4 sisters and the wedding?
Yeah, 4 sisters and a wedding. Tama. So, ayan, medyo giveaway na siya sa 4 sisters. Pero, di ba, with this, logline pa lang, nag-adjust na natin kung ano yung mapapanood natin. It's about family. So, ano ba yung dapat nilalagay sa logline? Tao, yung characters, and conflict. So, yun, kailangan dito pa lang buo na siya, in a way. Para kapag sumulat na tayo ng screenplay, ay okay na tayo. We know where is this going. So, yun. Bago tayo pumunta sa linear versus non-linear, meron pang usually na iba yung ginagawa eh. Usually for full length or medyo mahabang pelikula. Pero after ng logline, sumusulat tayo ng storyline. So, storyline is basically yung flow ng stories. And we must remember that screenplay is not similar to creative writing. Hindi tayo sumusulat. Hindi tayo ganito sumulat ng screenplay na parang umupo siya at ang bukang liwayway. Hindi tayo ganun sumulat ng screenplay. It's very much straightforward. Because what we value in writing films is the visual and the dialogues, of course. And di siya anuhin. So, usually when I write films, Taglish, kasi mas comfortable ako with that language. So, ayun, it depends talaga sa inyo. Pero usually, other film festivals, when you submit your films, international film festivals would require English, local, okay lang kahit Filipino or English. So, yun. Bago tayo, ayan, meron tayong tinatawag na form of, parang types of narratives, no? Ito yung linear versus nonlinear. Tapos, yung linear ay dire-diretso lang. Para mas ma-illustrate natin kung ano ba ibig sabihin nito, kung familiar kayo kay Ricky Lee, ang libro ng Trip to Quiapo, mahusay yung ni Sir Ricky sa pelikula. Like, paano ba tayo pupunta ng Quiapo? Gusto mo ba yung diretso lang? O gusto mo yung may pasikot-sikot? And this is how we write films eh. We have many obstacles. Paano mo lalagay ng obstacles? May traffic ba? And this makes sense, no? When the beginning of your film is if the starting point of your film is your house, and the ending of your film is the Quiapo, marami tayong paraan para makapunta sa Quiapo. And all ways are valid, of course. And depende sa'yo kung paano mo lalagay ng obstacles and stuff. So, yun nga, pwede kang mag-car, diretso ka na lang. Gusto mo mag-commute, dumaan ka pa sa Moraita, sa Avenida, para lang makapunta ng Quiapo. So, ayun. So, para ma-illustrate yung difference ng non-linear and linear, please play yung video na Merry Christmas. Citizen Kane is a classic film, 1941 by Orson Welles. So, it's considered one of the best films in the world. So, go.
Okay, so kuya, wait lang pa
Go lang.
So, ITCG.
Well, Charles, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year.
Okay. Wait lang. So, if mapapansin natin dun sa video, kung napanood naman natin, no, na may ginamit na, na technique yung si Orson para nag-represent na ba ulit?
Yeah. Yes po.
Yes po.
Okay. So, may ginamit si Orson Welles. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Yun yung ginamit niyang pangtawid para makatawid. Hindi nakita yung visuals nung and a Happy New Year, pero matanda na siya nun. So, ang style kasi ng Citizen Kane ay flashbacks talaga. So, gumamit siya ng devices, ng transitional devices para mapakita. So, yun yung tinatawag natin ng linear. Hindi diretso yung narrative ng story. So, usually yung mga nanaalang screenplay ay usually non-linear sila kasi medyo mahirap mag-pull off ng non-linear, especially yung smooth transitions. Yeah. Ano bang magandang pelikula na non-linear? Memento. If napanood niyo na. Ako hindi ko pa napanood, pero like yung concept na is about time, ganyan. So, 500 Days of Summer din. Yun, medyo mainstream na siya. And, yun. So, yun. Ito yung mga nilalaman ng screenplay natin. So, if you guys want to write a screenplay, pwede tayong gumamit ng Microsoft Office pero meron tayong mga ginagamit na professional na screenplay software. So, fade in yung isa, may bayad lang siya, pero may watermark naman. And yung isa is scenarist, yun, libre lang siya. And mas prefer ko yung scenarist kasi ang ganda ng pangit interface though, pero like, pwede ka magplano ng full film mo dun. So, ayan. Ito yung mga nilalaman ng film, no? Character, goal, conflict, logline, sequence, directions, dialogue, setting, day or night. So, I'm gonna talk about this one by one. So, character. Kapag bumubuo tayo ng character sa film, hindi siya dapat madaling makita. I mean, may mga characters tayong showy, pero dapat kapag bubuo tayo ng character, sobrang buo talaga. So, paano ba bumuo ng character? Kailangan kilala mo yung tao. If we're going to write about, ano bang familiar na ano? Kunwari, Four Sisters in a Wedding. Si Teddy, siya si Tony Gonzaga, right? Diba? Tama ba? Pero, yun, if may mali ako, just call me out. Anyway, yun. Si Tony Gonzaga, binuo natin siya. Pag binuo natin siya, dapat alam na natin yung birthday niya, alam natin yung full name niya. Usually, maganda, alam natin yung zodiac sign para alam natin yung traits and characteristics na i-embody niya. At hindi lang yun, alam din natin dapat yung kwento niya. Na kunwari, bata siya, achiever na talaga siya. Tapos yung college, ganyan-ganyan, achiever pa rin siya. So kapag bubuo tayo ng pelikula, dapat nakikita mo, kahit yung ultimo mannerisms lang nila, may magandang pelikula, it's Oda Sawala, Dwayne Baltazar, the same director of Gusto Kita With All My Hypothalamus. Well, watch her films, guys, kasi sobrang galing na bumuo ng characters. So, hindi lang tayo kapag sumusulat tayo ng dialogue ng character, hindi lang tayo basta kuha sa stereotypical na ganyan-ganyan. Dapat alam natin kung paano siya magsasalita, alam natin kung paano siya magre-react sa mga bagay. So, para malaman natin, para natin alam kung paano bubuuin yung character is we put that person in a situation. And sila yung mahalagang details sa screenplay kasi sila yung nakakaranas nung nangyayari. Sila yung sinasapak, sila yung nadadapa. So, dapat sila yung pinakamahalaga. So, kailangan kapag gumuo ka ng character, alam na alam mo siya. Para mo siyang anak kung ituring. So, ayun. So, of course, yung goal, kailangan mong bigyan ng goal yung character. Kung ano ba yung dapat nang gawin. Para sa dulo, is either he or she or they can achieve that goal or hindi. And dito din napasok ng conflict. Medyo purist convention na nasabihin na kailangan lagi may conflict ang pelikula. Pero, para sa akin, nag-work naman siya minsan kahit wala. Pero, depends na rin sa inyo. Pero, usually ako lagi may conflict talaga. Na parang, kailangan i-introduce mo agad yung conflict sa first or like early sequences pa lang para hindi maging mawala sa direction yung film mo. So, yun. Logline, kung ano yung sinabi ko kanina, sequence. So, ito yung header ito yung sequence, yung 1, exterior, kalsada, day. So, makikita nakikipaglaro ng bubuka ang bulaklak si Kaloy. So, ayan. So, ayan yung tinatawag nating sequence. So, binubuo siya ng sequence number, which is yung 1. Tapos, wait lang. Sinaset up yung tab ko so I can illustrate to you. So, ayan. Ooh. Is it working? Yeah. So, ito yung sequence number 1, kasi ito yung exterior or interior. It's either EXT or INT, exterior or interior. Tapos, setting, kalsada, or kwarto, or kayo bahala. Tapos, day or night. So, ayan, kapag day, of course, may sun, may araw. Kapag night, or yan. So, sa directions or actions. So, ito yung direction or action. Yan. Yan. Ito yung mga hindi natin nakikita sa pelikula verbally. So, ito usually ginagawa ng kung mapapansin nyo, andito yung character description. Kaloy, 12, yan. Yan. So, kailangan din, when we make films, meaningful talaga lahat na nangyayari. Kasi, kaya talaga gumagawa ng pelikula dahil gusto natin magpahati ng mensahe, of course. So, ayan. Setting day and night. Yun yung mga sinabi ko kanina. So, ayan. Ganito yung format ng screenplay. Usually, kapag if you write sa isang software, meron na silang may naka-default na to yung ganyang format. Characters, dialogue, direction, and so on. So, ganun. Kung mapapansin natin, hindi tayo sumusulat na parang, sa gitna ng umaalim po yung hangin ay may araw na sisikat. Hindi tayo ganun sumulat ng pelikula. unless given siya, depende kung ganun talaga yung style mo or it needs sa material mo. Of course, we don't discriminate naman. And we remember that that when we write, it must be in present tense. So, dahil lahat ng nangyayari sa pelikula ay kasulukuyang nangyayari. Ito yung ano. Pero minsan di ko na rin siya sinusunod eh. Yan, past tense, nagtakat ng motorsiklo habang umiikot. So, yan. Ito na natakal ko na kanina. So, yan. Every detail is important. Every story is valid. Just speak how you will deliver yours. So, mahalaga yung bawat nilalagay mo. Since hindi ka lang pwede mag-exit ng dialogue ng tao na hindi makakatulong sa kwento mo, sa pelikula mo. And don't let anyone na sabihin sa'yo na your story isn't cool because it's gas na or something. Of course, every story is valid. And hindi naman, kunwari, ayaw mong sumulat ng socially relevant na films, bakit mo pipilitin yung sarili mo, di ba? Na sumulat ng something political pero hindi ka naman invested pa sa ganung bagay or wala ka pang knowledge about it masyado. So, syempre, you educate yourself first tsaka kung gusto mong gawa ng pelikulang ganun, go lang. So, dami ko kasing narinig maraming elitista sa film industry na parang ayaw nilang gawin ang film kasi so, ano na rin siya, resulta na rin siya ng commodification of film, how capitalism continues to stall the growth of cinema. Yeah. So, ito, avoid Deo ex machina. And okay lang naman sana to, plot twist. Pero just remember na hindi lang doon nag-revolve ang story. Kasi may nagtanong sa akin dati na parang, JT, ano ba? Parang, kailangan, kasi sabi kasi ng isang filmmaker doon, kailangan daw kapag when I pass stories to film festivals, kailangan pakak yung ending. Ganun ba yung gusto mong mangyari sa pelikula mo? Ending lang yung maaalala. Maganda lang siya dahil sa plot twist. May sense ba yung plot twist? Diba? Huwag tayo magpakulong na dapat ang pelikula ay laging may boom na ending, kailangan laging may extravagant na ending, kailangan may dugo, kailangan may nangyayaring something na unexpected. Kasi when we say Deo ex machina, ano siya, yung mga plot device na parang ginagawa natin para i-save lang yung hopeless situation. So, hindi talaga siya logical. Though, yun, okay lang naman siya if you guys prefer plot twist, pero make it make sense na sure mo dapat na when you're trying to make a logical film, please make it so logical na hindi tayo mag-dive sa sa mga weird na na situations para lang maging kaya-aya yung pelikula natin. So, wag tayo matakot mag-experiment, no? Wag tayo magpakulong sa conventions. So, sapakin natin sila, yung mga purista. Because sila ang dahilan ng pagkaano ng cinema. Anyway, mahalaga to since as a film, as aspiring storytellers, kailangan natin pero kailangan mong malaman yung conventions. Pero kailangan din natin lumabas sa conventions para mo-continue natin how we will define cinema. And when we decide to do cinema in a serious way, in a professional way, kailangan nating malaman na ang pagpapelikula ay hindi lang hobby, ay hindi lang siya basta gagawin mo kapag kailangan mo mag-commit eh. Kailangan mo ng disiplina. Mahirap kapag nag-writer's block ka, kailangan mo talagang labanan kasi ito yung trabaho na gagawin mo. So, kapag nag-decide ka na mahal mo yung pelikula, kailangan seryosohin talaga natin siya. And go guys, pwede tayong gumawa ng film na walang visuals, na puro dialogue. Well, perhaps, yung black screen ay isa pa rin visual. Of course, kailangan may meaning pa rin siya. So, we're done with the story, no? So, when we talk about frames and visuals, ito yung sinabi ng favorite director ko. Wow, she's my mom. Anyway, a great shot or frame is still an empty frame if it doesn't elevate the story. Hindi ka basta kukuha ng shot dahil lang maganda yung itsura ng lens mo. Hindi ka ba basta kukuha ng shot kasi mukhang Hollywood yung look or mukhang ganito yung look. Kailangan kapag kukuha ka ng shot, may sense sa story. 'Di ba? So, powerful para sa akin yun yung mga cinematography. And honestly, isa sa favorite na film ko na may magandang cinematography. Cinematography lang, hindi ko masyado bet yung story is Roma. Ang ganda na. Hindi lang ako solve sa conclusion for Cleo. If you guys watch it sa Netflix then, ang ganda ng long takes na ginamit ni Cuarón. Later, magdi-discuss pa ako about cinematography, of course. So, yan. Kapag maganda yung shot mo, hindi na natin kailangan ng dialogue. No dialogue needed. Pero of course, depende yan sa material mo. As kanina ko pa sinasabi, kung ano ba kailangan ng material mo, kailangan ba masalita sila or hindi. Ganun ba yung character mo or mahilig siyang magkubling ng mga nararamdaman sa mga mannerisms kapag kinakabahan ba siya, kinakagat niya yung kuko niya or nagkakamot siya ng ulo or something. It depends sa material mo. So, So, yan. Make it make sense, guys. Kailangan lagi tayong mindful sa mga sinusulat natin, of course. So, yan. Please, wag tayong problematic. No to Daryl, yeah. Hindi yan joke. Seryoso yan. Because, wag na tayo dumagdag sa mga narratives na hindi nakakatulong para maiangat ang mga marginalized, no? And ang kwento ay hindi lang tungkol sa pagde-deliver ng kwento. Tungkol din ito on how we represent them. Paano tayo magre-represent ng poor? Kailangan ba para tayong Brillante Mendoza na parang ina-exoticize yung struggles ng poor, di ba? Pero hindi tayo dapat ganoon. Kailangan lumubog tayo sa masa at sila mismo yung hayaan natin magkwento dahil hindi naman natin trabaho na magkwento for them. Instead, it's our work to amplify their voices. Kasi may privilege tayo, diba? The fact na you guys have the capacity to attend this webinar. Yan. So, let's watch this shorts by Gerald Tarag, director of General Luna, Goyo, and other films. So it's faculty. Please play.
Okay, look. ITCG.
Tigisa kayo, remembrance. Corny yan kasi corny rin kayo. Ba, matuto ka na magsimula. Ngayong weekend, sama ka.
Guys.
Amigs. Okay. Ayos na ako. Okay.
Alis ka na? Pirmahan mo lang daw, tapos diretso ka na sa accounting.
Bakit ikaw ang...
Iwas gulo.
Takot ang admin. I hereby resign from this school of cowards.
Buwiin nila check mo. Sige ka.
Wala namang ganyan, Mars. Below the belt.
Last day mo na. Go in peace.
Hirmahan ko na nga, oh. Amen.
Ano, Mars? Kita-kits na lang sa Facebook.
Pwede namang live. Magkapit-bahay lang tayo. In-unfriend ko yun.
Saan ka ngayon?
Hospital. Bistahin ko si Julia.
Ano din daw mga bata?
Ay! Shit! Amnesia.
Wow! Thank you. Asan laman?
Sa weekend, tara. Tayo ni Migs at Abby. Pangpalimot sa baho ng lugar na to.
Okay.
Sige, Mars.
Bye. Huwag na masyadong palaban na.
Ano?
Wala.
Hindi, ano nga?
Huwag na masyadong bibo. Wala, go. Tama na.
Seryoso, ano to? Kampi ka sa admin?
Hindi, ano ka ba, Joanne? Walang kontrabida dito.
So, ano nga sinasabi mo?
Hindi mo. I think medyo naging out of line ka. Wala tayo sa UP, okay? Walang aktivista sa college na to.
So?
So, misguided yung ginawa mo. Yung ginagawa mo, hindi realistic.
Bakit ikaw? Realistic ka?
Bakit? Sino ba itong mga batang to? I mean, mahal ko sila, but they're spoiled rich kids. Classy students from Class A families.
So, meaning wala silang karapatang matuto?
Matutong mag-rally? Thank you. Matutong makipagsigawan sa polis, magsuot ng posas.
Hindi, Mars. Hindi ko naman dinala yung mga bata sa rally para mag-ingay. Kailangan nila mag-isip. They need to think.
Alam mo kung anong kailangan nila? Kung realistic lang ang pag-uusapan, ha? Kailangan nila ng at least passing grade para hindi mahasal ang parents nila na maghanap ng bagong college kung saan may mga teachers na readyng magyaya sa mga anak nila. Yan ang trabaho natin dito. Yaya.
God, Rhea, ganyan ka ka-cynical?
Ako, sinikal? 3 taon na ako dito, ikaw isa lang. At yun lang ang expectations ko sa sistema dito.
Empleyado ka. Sorry ha, teacher kasi ako, kailangan ko magturo. Yung volunteer work namin sa Ondoy, sorry ha, kailangan ko sila expose sa ganun eh.
Andun na naman ako, di ba? Pero, alam mo, after 3 hours na pagbabalot ng dilata, alam mo kung ano sabi ng mga bata? Guys, this isn't fun anymore. I wanna go na. Bag mo.
Listen,
Tama na, please.
hindi, makinig ka. These kids are in a perfect position to influence society when they graduate. Upper class, they belong to influential families.
Maganda intentions mo, but they're directed on the wrong students.
God, Rhea, sarado yung utak mo.
Gusto mo mangyari sa mga bata? Dapat matagal na yung tinuro sa kanila ng mga magulang nila nung bata pa sila. Or at least in high school. Ugali ang pinag-uusapan natin dito.
No, we are talking about social awareness and responsibilities. Alam mo, sorry ha. Hindi kasi ako kontentong mangitlog ng mga mangmang katulad mo. May pakialam ako sa mga bata.
Talaga, wala akong pakialam.
Wala.
Sinong pumunta sa ospital nang hampasin sa ulo si Julia ng mga polis? Sinong nandun sa tabi niya nung ginagamot siya for internal bleeding?
That's not my fault.
Sinong tumawag sa mga magulang ni Julia na para sabihin na comatose ang anak nila? Wala akong pakialam. Inabot pa ako ng 1 linggo para magpakita sa mga magulang, sa mga estudyante?
That's not my fault.
It's not your fault. Sino nagdala kay Julia sa mga rally? She's making us go, ma'am, sabi sa akin ni Julia. Oo, nasa na siya ngayon? Joanne! I'm sorry. Seryoso, Mars. Sumabog lang ako. Check mo, di mo ba kukunin?
Hindi na ba kung sino pa nasa accounting?
Hindi, ganito na lang. Yung dati mong authorization letter, palitan ko ng date. Tapos, bigay ko sa'yo mamaya pagkakuha ko, pag-uwi. Tama na, Mars. I'm sorry.
Sitahin ko pa si Julia. Go.
May bakante sa FEU. Gusto mo lakad kita, pinsan ko yung head ng humanities.
Hindi, okay na ako na bahala.
Sayang naman. Sige na,
Okay
tara.
na ako, promise.
Anong gagawin mo?
Tuturo ako ng high school.
Stop na natin. Hello? Hello? Hello, rinig ba ako?
Yes po.
Yes po.
Okay. Sige guys, Meron ba kayo napansin sa details? I want to hear your thoughts. Like, pinaka-minor or something. Answer kayo. Go. Meron ba dito? Sino magtawag tayo? Joke lang. Sige.
Okay guys, so kung yan, chat box. So, sabi po
Okay.
nila yung sa baso, yung sa shot glass, or ano
Yeah.
naman yun?
Yeah. So, napansin niyo ba kung ano yung content ng baso? yung text. Yeah, Pinoy Pride. So,
Pinoy Pride.
yeah. Kung makikita natin dito, nice observations, Julian and Gia, no? If we're gonna, isa pa yon. Yeah. If we're gonna, analyze things, yung pagbasag ng baso and all, yung camera movement, may sinasabi siya. So, bakit Pinoy Pride yung binigay ng teacher? Kasi basically, she's an activist. So, may, like, makabayan and all. So, through that shot glass na may Pinoy Pride lang, na-establish natin yung character niya. And then, nung nabasag, sa gitna ng tension nila, diba? So, yun, nakikita natin na ano yung nangyari. And yung camera movement, yung paggalaw, nasa una stable lang siya. Pero, nung nagkaroon na ng medyo commotion, naging shaky na siya and all. No, these are the minor details na pwede nating ilagay para mas makadagdag ng effects because that's how we do filmmaking. Everything is intentional or symbolical in a way kapag di mo sinasadya na nandun. Anyway, yun. I'll present my slide again so we can proceed to the next part of the... Okay. Hope you guys love that film. I really love that film. It's very... yeah. Are you guys seeing my slides?
Yes po.
Okay. Yun na yan. Yan. So, okay. So, yeah, we're done with the script. So, ano yung gagawin natin if we're done with the script na? So, yeah. Depende to sa inyo, pero usually, gusto ko inuuna yung cinematography kasi nagmamatter din yung ating production design when it comes to cinematography. So, kapag cinematography, ang tawag natin sa gumagawa nun ay cinematographer or DOP or director of photography. So, dapat lagi magkatabi ang director of photography kasi they are the visual translator of the directors. So, when we talk about cinematography, it's all about the visuals. What are we seeing, guys? Ganyan. Ano yung nakikita natin sa screen and all. Ayan. Guys, guess the films. Madali na to. Meron ba?
Okay, so the birdshot.
Yeah.
Sabi nila, ayan, nagbilis. Yeah, Bianca Gavina and ni Kuya Jeremy again.
Yes. Okay, Birdshot 2016 by Michael Red. So, we all know Michael Red. Hindi ko masyado trip yung film na to, pero okay lang. This one, sana may makahula. Meron ba? Pakwang yan.
Okay, audience, meron ba? Okay, mukhang
Wala.
hindi na alam. Wala.
Okay.
Okay.
It's Oda sa Wala. Q Cinema Best Picture noong 2018. Directed by Dwayne Batuzar. Yun yung kanina ko na-mention. Guys, ang ganda niyan, panoorin niyo. Pero wala pa siyang available online. So, ayun. Pero joke lang yung pirata kanina. Mahal na mahal ko yung director niyan. So, baka makita niya kasi. Anyway, yan. This one, gusto ko to do on my hypothalamus. When we talk about visuals, may napapansin ba kayo sa frame na to? Pwede bang may makapagsabi, observe sa frame na to? Go, guys. Frame lang. What are your observations?
So, reflection daw po. yung reflection ng girl, yun yung sinasabi ng majority.
Yeah. Nice observation kasi when they look at this shot, sobrang powerful. Well, just sa background, ang gusto kita with on my hypothalamus ay tungkol sa obsession. And si Lando, the guy, is very obsessed with Eileen. So makita natin dito na parang kinukulong siya. Kahit saan siya tumingin, ang nakikita na ay si Eileen. So dito ang powerful ng shot na parang ang dami na sinasabi. So, ganun dapat tumingin ng pelikula, content and form para mas solid yung analysis natin when it comes. This one, may nakakaalam ba nito? Alam niyo yan, sana. Go guys.
So audience, meron po bang may idea? So In the Mood for Love daw? Is
Yeah,
it correct
nice.
po kuya?
Nice. In
Okay.
the Mood for Love 2000, Wong Kar-wai. It's considered na magnum opus ni Wong Kar-wai. Well, yeah, maganda. I really like the film, pero mas gusto ko yung Fallen Angels. 1995. So, this one, meron ba?
So audience, meron? Meron ba nakakaalam?
Or, wala. Okay.
Okay, so
Anti-Porno 2016, if I'm not mistaken. Sean Shono, director ni Sean Shono. So, eto, Roma. Roma ulit. And this is my favorite scene from Roma. Beach scene. Mahusay yung long take si Coron. Wala akong masasabi sa kanya. Ang husay ng cinematography. So, ito yung mga pelikulang to na may outstanding citations. May mga citations sila sa film regarding cinematography. Ito, mahusay ang paggamit ng colors. Wong Kar-wai, ang husay ng paggamit ng colors. Lagi and all, ang husay-husay ni Wong Kar-wai. And this one, mahusay rin. Neil Lazo yung cinematographer nito. Ito, Christopher Doyle, if I'm not mistaken. Ito, hindi ko alam. Yan. Alfonso Cuarón siya rin yung cinematographer. So, para mas, before tayo mag-proceed sa medyo in-depth na discussion ng cinematography, let's move on to Orson Welles. Favorite siya, no? Touch of Evil. Since mahilig ako sa long takes and maganda yung long take ito. So guys, please, let's watch this.
okay, ITCG.
You folks are American citizens?
I am, yes.
Where were you born, miss?
Mrs.
What?
Philadelphia.
The name is Vargas. Hey, Jim! See who's here? Sure, Mr. Vargas. Out on the trail of another dope ring?
Out on the trail of a chocolate soda for my wife.
Your wife?
Yeah, your bride, officer.
Hey, can I get through? A lot of talk up here about how you cracked that Grandy business.
Yeah, we hear you caught the big boss. Only one of them. The Grandys are a big family. Good night.
No purchases, Mr. Lineker?
Hey, I got this.
You're American citizen, miss?
I got the ticking noise.
Yeah, okay.
No, really, this
Good
ticking
night.
noise in my head.
Mike, do you realize this is the very first time we've been together in my country?
You realize I haven't kissed you in over an hour? ¿Qué pasó? No sé, un carro explotó.
Cut na natin, cut na natin.
That car that just passed us exploded.
So, ang husay ng long takes ni Cuaron. I mean, ni Orson Welles. Grabe, sobrang one shot lang, one take lang lahat ng yon. If mapapansin nyo. Gumamit siya ng blocking. Ang ganda ng direction. Ang ganda ng direction. And sa cinematography, malaking factor din to na how we place our objects, our characters sa frame. Diba? Sobrang husay. Yun lang. Mahusay siya. Sana all. Anyway, I'm gonna proceed with my presentation again. Yes. Okay. Okay. Kita naman, diba? So, when we talk about cinematography, the basic foundation of cinematography is photography. When we call it director of photography, sobrang halaga ng photography. So, ito yun sa UP, meron kaming film 110. It's basic photography. So, ito yung mga nakuha ko doon sa prof ko. Pero black and white lang yung namin. So, nagdagdag na lang din ng So, composition, framing, color, and point of view. So, ito yung remarkable na sinabi sa akin ng prof ko. She's Anne de Guzman. Hi, ma'am. Sabi niya is, kaya kami camera to let others see how you look at the world. Kasi, anong sense kung diba? Kung yung nangyayari sa yung nangyayari sa meron ba? Okay. Kung yung nangyayari sa pelikula ay nakikita rin natin. So kaya tayo may camera kasi pwede nating ipakita yung hindi nakikita ng mga mata natin. So, yun. Power. So, Citizen Kane, Orson Welles. When we talk about composition, okay, let's play the dining table scene from Citizen Kane. Para mas ma-point natin yung wait lang, I'll stop sharing lang. Okay, go.
Ox.
Tell you about Emily. I went to dancing school with Emily. I was very graceful. We were talking about the first Mrs. Kane.
What was she like?
She was like all the girls I knew in dancing school. Very nice girl, very nice. Emily was a little nicer. Well, after the first couple of months, she and Charlie didn't see much of each other except at breakfast. It was a marriage just like any other marriage.
Look at the details, guys.
You're beautiful.
Oh, I can't.
Yes, you are. You're very, very beautiful.
I've never been to 6 parties in
Extremely
my
beautiful.
whole life. I'd have even been up this
It's
late.
a matter of habit.
I wonder what the servants will think.
I think we enjoyed ourselves.
Dearest,
Didn't we?
I don't see why you have to go straight out to the newspaper.
You never should have married a newspaper man. They're worse than sailors. I absolutely adore you.
Oh, Charles, even newspaper men have to sleep.
I'll call Mr. Bernstein, have him put off my appointments until noon. What time is it?
I don't know, it's late.
It's early.
Charles, do you know how long you kept me waiting last night while you went to the newspaper for 10 minutes? What do you do in a newspaper in the middle of the night?
Emily, my dear, your only co-respondent is the Inquirer.
Sometimes I think I'd prefer a rival of flesh and blood.
Oh, Emily, I don't spend that much time on the newspaper.
It isn't just the time. It's what you print. Attacking the president.
You mean Uncle John?
I mean the president of the United States.
He's still Uncle John. He's still a well-meaning fathead who's letting a pack of high-pressure crooks run his administration. This whole oil scandal.
He happens to be the president, Charles, not you.
That's a mistake that will be corrected one of these days.
You, Mr. Bernstein, sent Junior the most incredible atrocity yesterday, Charles. I simply can't have it in the nursery.
Mr. Bernstein is apt to pay a visit to the nursery now and then.
Does he have to?
Yes.
Really, Charles? People will think...
What I tell them to think.
Okay, that's it, no? Citizen Kane. Dining scene. So, may mga may mga napansin ba yung details regarding the composition, sa mga bagay na hawak nila, sa mga go guys, type. Meron ba? Details.
Okay, so to our audience, nagtatype pa raw, kuya.
Okay, go lang. Go, Gia.
Okay, so sabi ni Ate Julian, gumaganda yung mga objects sa table kasi mas mayaman sila, pero mas lumalayo sila. Wow, observant.
Wow.
Okay.
That's a nice observation kasi when we talk about films, this Citizen Kane is commentary rin siya on capitalism, commodification. So, ganda observation na yung mayaman sila pero nagkakalayo sila. And, yun. Hintayin natin yung kay Gia. May gusto ko marinig. Okay.
So, yung kay Christine, their mood. So, yung kay Ate Gia naman is yung train for being used for transition.
Okay, nice observations, guys. Pero kung napansin nyo, ang ganda nung paggamit ng table, kung paano sila kinulong sa camera, na sa una, kahit ano lang siya, like, pinapakita lang yung tao, nakikita natin yung distance sa kanila kasi maraming obstacles sa kanila. Ibig sabihin, sa una, ang daling makahinga, ang daling makita yung pero habang tumatagal, nahihirapan ka na rin. So, through this, na-establish natin yung conflict between the couple na. So, I'm going to present again, going back to my slides. So, okay. Let's try this one. Okay. So, dito nakita natin yung mga objects sa table, dumadami, yung damit niya, sumisikip, yung dating maluwag, dating showy, ngayon nagiging close. Yung dyaryo na basa nila sa dulo, yung isa the chronicle, yung isa iba, na magkalaban. So, dito pa lang kita na natin. Isa pang gusto kong composition, favorite ko i-analyze yung birdshot kasi for some reason, sinulatan ko siya ng papel kasi maganda talaga yung cinematography and yung thought, yung composition nito, no? Para sa akin lang to, hindi ko sure if intentional siya, pero parang tatsulok and binuhat na ito ng baliktad. So, reverse the social class. Parang ganun yung dating na sa akin since about class struggle din siya. No? Ito, may mga lines na ginamit para maipakita yung difference between ito. Wanna make sure. Sandpaper. Okay, nakakahiya. Anyway, ayan. May mga linya tayong para maipakita yung contrast sa dalawang pulis na to, no? Ito pa, additional ko lang, hindi ko alam, pero siya may pinto pa siyang pwedeng labasan. Kasi hindi po siya masyadong ng sistema, yung isa wala na. So, yun. Ito, oda sa wala, again, mahusay yung paggamit na ng aspect ratio. It's, it's 4:3. Ganito siya. Since it's about kabaong, it's about kamatayan, and all. Pakisabi na sa akin yung chat if ever may details. So, para interactive tayo.
Okay.
Okay, ayan. So, gumamit siya ng ng 4:3 na aspect ratio para papasikip natin yung frame since about patay siya. Tapos yung aspect ratio na ganito, guys, para siyang ganyan. Hindi siya perfect square. May curves. Para kang sumisilip sa kabaong. So, doon, no, nakita natin yung, yung power ng cinematography and how we look at things. And this one, favorite ko sa birdshot parallelism, na nagpakita ng coming of age ni Maya. Si Maya yung ating bida. At lahat siya may hawak na barel. Meron, alam ko meron tong shot na ganito rin. Tapos ito barel. Una, ang kaya lang niyang barilin ay, oh my God, this is a spoiler. Sorry. May eagle dito. Ay, may ibon. Dito, eagle. Hanggang tumapang na siya, naging tao. So, ayun. Ang galing nung pag-build kung paano ba nag-grow si Maya as a woman. So, yun. Let's move on sa color. So, ayan yung mga components lang naman ng colors. Yung mismong color, saturation, yung intensity lang. Kung pag binabaan natin, magiging black and white siya. Kapag dinulo mo, kapag nasa medyo desaturated, of course. So, value, darkness and lightness. So, yun lang naman yung basic ng colors. So, usually, ginagamit natin ang colors na para magbigay ng mood. So, tulad dito, sa Chungking Express ni Wong Kar-wai, 1994, gumamit siya ng blue colors para magpakita yung coldness, ganyan. Pero minsan sa pelikula, may mga warm din na colors. In the Mood for Love. Red, it's about parang elegant, parang ganyan yung dating ng red dun sa pelikula. So, minsan, pwede mo rin gamitin yung red sa horror, di ba? Usually, since bloody, since ang weird, no? Ang powerful ni Wong Kar-wai, kung naisip mo, it's about romance in a way. Hindi siya pure romance pero red ang ginamit ng color. Para siyang sexually arousing, pero hindi. Ganun yung ng pelikula. Ayan, si Wes Anderson, siya yung pinakakilala usually sa mahusay na paggamit ng pastel colors sa films. Sobrang marami ng nag-idolize sa kanya. Hindi pa ako nakakapanood ng pelikula ni Wes Anderson. So, pero maganda yung paggamit ng colors. And when we talk about colors, ito rin, point of view, Pulp Fiction, Tarantino ba to? Yeah. Just correct me if I'm wrong. Pulp Fiction, Hollywood classic din. So, gumamit siya ng point of view. So, ayan, para maipakita natin yung superiority niya at yung inferiority nito. Gumamit tayo ng bird's eye view sa kanya at gumamit tayo ng worm's eye view para dito. Dito, no, we can look at this as a very symbolic way of how to do filmmaking, that everything is intentional, na kung paano ka tumitingin sa camera, gusto mo rin may pakita sa mga audiences, of course. So, ang powerful na pwede mong maiba yung tingin ng, pwede mong ibahin yung tingin ng iba sa pamamagitan lang ng shots. And ganito pinag-uusapan natin sa kanina. Paano natin i-frame yung mga poor? Makakatulong ba kung ganito? Or pwedeng ganito? Or pwedeng neutral lang? Pwedeng eye level lang? Diba? Nag-work din to sa marketing, yung mga point of view and all. Depende na rin sa'yo kung paano mo siya, Kasi, ang camera, since siya ang nagpo-project ng tao, ay ang kumukuha sa tao, rin siya makikita mo kung gaano siya kalayo sa tao. Ibig sabihin ba kapag malayo siya, kapag long shot siya, kailangan ba para siyang distance sa nangyayari. So, paano kumikilos yung camera? Just imagine na camera is a secret eye sa nangyayari. Here's how we storyboard, no? Cinematography. May tinatawag din tayong shot list if yan. Para mas makatulong kung paano natin Kasi when we do storyboarding, makakatulong din siya sa when it comes sa shots, ganyan, para continuous yung shots. Para hindi tayo magkaroon ng problem with continuity. So, yan. So, we're done with cinematography. We're moving on to production design. When we say production design, world builder, it's called, ang tawag namin sa production designer ay PD. Set design and wardrobe yung mahalagang components ng production design. When we say production design, we must take note na bubuin mo yung mundong ginagalawan ng mga character ng sa pelikula. So, kailangan, kapag sa mismong set din, ma-feel din ng mga actors na they are in their character dahil sa mood sa lugar. So, kailangan, hindi ka lang basta maglalagay ng gamit dyan. Paano mo bububuin yung tao? Kung siya ba ay mahilig sa Barbie, so yung kwarto niya maraming Barbie and all. So, di ba? Yung kwarto may sinasabi yan sa pelikula eh. So, that's how we make sense of the things going on sa films. So, may mga kapanghula ba ng film na to? Sikat siya sa Philippines. It's Ann Curtis. Meron ba? Or narinig ba ako?
Yes, narinig ko. Okay.
Meron bang pwedeng Buy Bust. Yeah, tama.
Buy Bust. Okay.
Good. It's a film by Eric Mati. 2018. Yeah, 2018, if I'm not mistaken. So, si Roma Regala yung production designer nito, pati yung isa. Kalimutan ko sino, pero yun. Para sa akin, maganda yung production design niya. Kasi, imagine mo, set siya. Though may flaws pa rin at some points. Though hindi ko trip yung film. Pero yung production design, okay. Yan. Kasi, share ko lang kung bakit problematic yung film for me. Niromanticize na yung EJK. In a way na parang aesthetic yung pagpatay ng tao. Like, kung pinanood mo yun sa biktima, hindi sila matutuwa, of course. Pero diba, maganda yung production design. Hindi natin pwedeng So, ayan. So, bukod sa production design, kailangan din natin buuin kung paano ba manamit yung character. So, we have the wardrobe or costume design. So, this is from the birdshot again, which I really like because ang ganda ng symbolisms ng birdshot. So, ito yung damit ni Maya. And we all know na Maya is the national bird ng Philippines. Mayang pula. And this is the Mayang pula. If we put them side by side, makikita natin yung similarities nila, no? Na meron silang red, meron din tong red, If you guys search a lot of pictures, yun. Tas, ang ganda rin ng conflict ng Maya and Haribon in a way na paglaban, nag-resist si Maya sa Haribon. Di ba before, ang national bird natin ay Maya, pinalitan ng Haribon. Ilan ba ang population ng Haribon? 1%. Ay, konti lang. Endangered na ang Haribon. Ang mga Maya, marami. So, para sa akin, ang take ko doon ay symbolism siya ng mass and the Burgese population, na 1% lang siya ng population. Pero sila pa rin yung powerful. Pero sila pa rin yung naghahari dito sa mundo. So, sa mga ganitong detalye, nakakatulong siya sa narratives natin. Kahit hindi siya mapapansin agad ng audiences because that's the power of cinema. Hindi naman siya after mo mapanood na, it's good. Oh, let me digest that first before deciding na if I can decide na, is it good? Do I like it or no? Diba? Ganun. So, ito yung set namin sa isang film. So, our production designer is Isabella Mariano. She's my classmate, but she's from Pasig Science before. So, this is our film na Kauwi Na. Hindi ko to film. Assistant director ako dito. So, ito yung set before. This, ayan. Ito yung nasa right yung kung paano binuo. So, napapansin na since yung character namin ay meron siyang like, ito yung mga hilig niya. Yung arts and crafts, diba? Teacher siya. So, meron daw mga sulat ng mga bata. Like, gano'n. So, how magical, no, na you can really turn this set into something that would really translate your vision or something that everyone will feel. So, yun. Kailangan hindi lang tayo lagay ng bagay dahil lang maganda siya tignan, dahil maganda ang color niya, dahil maganda siya sa camera. Dapat nag-make sense siya sa mismong kwento, sa character mo, sa gusto mong ipahatid. So, ayun. Tandaan natin yun na. Yan yung parang final film. Yan. May gitara siya, so pwede natin conclude na mahilig siya mag-gitara. Yan. Organize siya. Ganon. So, we make it to a point din na dapat hindi siya mukhang scripted and ganon. Para hindi weird tignan. Dapat natural lang siya. So, that's all about production designing. And when we, lahat to parte pa siya ng pre-production. So you have a production deck, PD deck, na nandun lahat ng suggested wardrobes mo kung ikaw ay production designer. So this one is production management. So usually tawag namin sa kanya ay parent of the set or mommy kasi siya yung nag-aalaga, PM, production manager. So yeah. So ito yung mga kailangan sa PM kit. Call sheet, prod org, talent coordinator, din siya, budget and location manager. So usually for for small scale production shoots. Pero usually magkakahiwalay ang lockman, ang TC, ang talent coordinator. So may call sheet tayo, ang call sheet ay naglalaman lang talaga ng Okay. I'll show you some of our film projects. This one. Ito yung call sheet. While we were waiting, so yung call sheet naglalaman siya ng ganyan. Yan. Oras, anong araw, sinong director and all. Nandito rin kung schedule, kung anong i-shoot. Sequence 1. Kasi when we shoot a script, di naman yan necessarily na sequential eh. So doon din papasok yung work ng assistant director. Later, I'll discuss more about that. Yan. Basic ng So, production design. Ganito yung production design. Let's wait. So, ito yung ginawa nung PD namin during the shoot. It's mabagal. Anyway. Yeah. So, later kapag I'll show you the papers na lang. Very technical, very So, I think nag-make sense naman na prod organizer. Dapat alam na rin kung ano yung allergies ng mga tao since kapag kakain kayo, guys, dapat inclusive tayo. So, yun, just remember that don't be fidelistic when it comes to directing or leading a production. We must put in our minds na film is a collaborative art. So, dapat nagtatahi-tahi tayo sa isa't isa. Walang nakakataas. So, yan, kaya siguro, diba ang hirap na stereotypical director ay yung sumisigaw, no? Don't be like that. So yeah, we're done with the pre-prod, so we're gonna proceed with shooting. But it's not that easy na gaya ng nakita mo. So it's called principal photography. It's the production part of this. Basic stages, when you call this basic, but it's not really basic. So, yan. Assistant director. So usually ito yung role after nung Bumtiyaya, last work ko as a director is Bumtiyaya. So after nito, parang naging AD na ako lagi sa friends ko. Kasi we take turns. Dapat siya naman mag-direct, next siya. And sana makahanap din kayo ng collective na gano'n, no? Na very, bigayan kayo. So yan. Tagasigaw ng quiet on the set. Of course, kailangan mo entertain sila. Kailangan close na sila ng director. Siya yung nag-remake sa director na, direct, it's, we're time, it's 11 p.m. na we should wrap na, and edit log, what's edit log, siya yung nag-ilista kung ano yung mga shots, yung mga file na na approve or hindi approve. So, ayan. Usually, laging imbyan na, pero hindi naman. Like, dapat mabait ka. Dapat mahaba yung patience mo. So, ikaw rin yung usually nag-aano sa talent eh. Ikaw yung nagpuput sa blocking, nagtuturo, minsan umarte, ganyan. Kapag small scale production, ganun usually. Walang pera, mahal mag-film. So, cinematographer. So, when we shot, when a cinematographer is doing his shot, her, or their shot na. So, usually sinasabi ay rolling or yun. So, direct, wala sa focus. Usually, bawal siya matulog. And yun nga, as what I've said, visual translator siya ng mga nangyayari sa script. So, kapag sumusulat ka ng script, no, if you don't intend to be the director and the cinematographer, kailangan hayaan mo ng free vision yung cinematographer. You don't put the type of shots there sa script. Do depende kung ikaw rin gusto mo mag-cinematographer para ma-take note mo rin. Or if writer ka, if may special na mahalaga sa cinematography na kailangan makita. Yan. So, script con, siya yung kailangan fluid yung shots. Tapos dapat, pinari, anito yung kamay. Kapag sa next shot, nakaganon na. Makikita yun sa editing eh. So, hindi continuous yung edit, di ba? So, yun. sound designer. So, kapag nag-record naman ng sound, very underrated ng sound designer sa films especially in the Philippines, I think. Usually, nag-i-invest sa cinematography tapos ang nangyayari na lang may musical scoring para mas magkaroon ng impact. Pero, guys, very important ng sound. Grabe, Roma, watch that. Ang ganda ng sound design ng Roma. Sobrang, pag naka-earphones ka lalo, shit, ganda, ganda. So, yun, kapag nag-record kasi yung, yung sound design, yung sound person, actually, dapat sound siya. Pero, yun, hindi siya sound. Pero same lang naman. Anyway, ang nire-record nila ay sinasabi nila, speeding na po direct, ganyan kapag isa rolling, isa to speeding. So, usually, nako-compromise kasi lagi nilang sinasabi sa post na lang daw ayusin or post-production sa editing na lang daw. So, yun. Sad life. So, that's basically the production. How you handle everything during the prod. And we're moving on to the post-production. So, it's not yet done. So, hindi pa tayo chill. Usually, si direct stress time the producer since sila yung nag-uusap. And editor. So, when we talk about editing, hindi lang siya basta pagdudugtong Hindi lang siya basta pagka-cut ng dito. Kailangan alam mo yung rhythm ng pelikula. Kung paano yung pag-cut. Ito makaka-apekto sa second shot. At kaya ang Filipino ng editor, usually pa nagki-credit ako ng editor, ang nilalagay ko paghahabi or weaving, no? When we weave something, we don't just, na parang kinukumpuni lang natin siya. Hindi lang tayo ganun magtahe. We make sure na maayos yung pagtatahe at nagma-make sense yung mga materials. So, ganun din tayo mag-edit. Hindi lang tayo, like, mahaba na ba siya? Kailangan ko na ba siya i-cut dito? Kailangan ko ba maglagay? So, malaki rin ang power ng editor. Hindi lang siya ganun. So, this is, our film 21 Days, which is actually on competition right now. So, if you guys want to watch Cinema Pua, I think live siya ngayon pero you can catch it. Bukas wala man siya mag-live. So, this was my last film in high school. So, ayan. Premiere Pro, I also edit my films so para tipid kasi wala akong pera. Anyway, ayan. Hindi ka lang basta hassle. Paano pa yung mga iba, diba? So, colorist. Hindi naman siya required sa lahat na magkaroon ng colorist. Pero maganda, maasin yung kulay ng pelikula. Since, ito yung usually sinasave kapag na talaga, like, hindi na kaya ng ilaw. Ganyan. So, when we talk about colors, tulad ng kanina, we fix about the mood, kung maayos ba, kailangan ba cold yung treatment or warm, paano siya magmumukha. So, ito yung before shot ng film namin. Tapos nung kinulayan na ay naging ganito siya. Hindi ko alam kung maganda ba, pero naging warm siya, guys. Diba? Yan. So, ayan. Since ang mood ng film ko ay parang ghosting or longing for someone, kailangan nagmukha siyang patay or something. Yan. Sound designer katulad ng kanina, kapag hindi na ayos sa production stage, we fix it in the post-prod. So, hindi lang siya paggaganito ng mga tunog. Kailangan kasi tama rin yung patak ng ulan. Kunwari, ulan, saan pumapatak? Sa balat ba siya pumapatak? Or sa semento? Or something like that. Diba? So, kailangan nag-make sense yung mga tunog, guys. Hindi lang siya, mahal yung studio. Pero yan. Scorer. So, sa scoring, maganda yung sinabi ni Gerald Tarog na Gerald Tarog is a graduate of music sa UP. So, tapos nag-film siya. Tinanong ko siya if mahirap ba raw mag-shift. Pero actually, hindi naman daw. Kasi parang peres lang daw ang component ng film at music. May introduction, may climax, may exposition. Tama ba exposition? Pero yun. So, yan. Sa scoring, dito rin natin how we build up our things, our stuff, para magkaroon tayo ng feels na mapapahatid natin sa mga audiences natin. So, dito, makikita natin na film isn't just something na parang lang siya. Like, parang kung paano siya disregard sa Philippines, film takes a lot of hard work talaga, no? So, yeah, that's all for the technical part. So, yun. I think we can you can do this na. Because it's time. So, yun lang. Go tell your story. Anything, just everything is valid. Just tell yours. You can do it, guys. So, I hope this talk, no, nakatulong. So, if you want to send your stories, if you want to talk, let's talk about your stories, about films. My email is just jrtaylor.p.edu.ph and John Thomas yung messenger ko. So, pwede naman if we can talk about your films. Mabait naman ako. So, screenshot nyo na to, guys. Ito yung film recs ko for Film recs for Cinefast. This is a Facebook group. So, if you want to be exposed sa marami pang ano. So, mahilig ako sa Asian cinema. Hindi ako masyado sa Hollywood. Pero yung mga examples ko, Hollywood din. Pero yun, ayan, magaganda yung mga films na as in. So, this is my favorite film, Ito Mga Tambien. Alfonso Cuarón. So, yan. Plug! Our film is showing ngayon, 20 to 25, Cinema Pua under high school category. Since high school ako nung ginawa ko yun. 21 days, please watch it, guys. And please support our production, like our Facebook and Twitter page, Free Part. So, I hope you guys learned a lot with that. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much, Kuya. So, Kuya JT, everyone, again, grabe, no? Ngayon nagkaroon tayo ng in-depth understanding on what really goes behind the scenes when it comes to making movies. And it's really complicated and really hard, no? Hindi biro. As in, we must really appreciate every movie na nakapanood natin, foreign man yan or indie films. Okay, so, ngayon naman, Kuya JT, we have a question for you, no? Before we proceed. So this is from us in ITCJ mismo. Since we want to know kung ano yung pwede ma-motivate sa ating audience. So, what is your vision to the future of Philippine cinema? You know, as a filmmaker, ano yung vision mo para sa future ng cinema natin dito sa Philippines?
Ayun, I hope na we get the support of the government since mahirap ang film. Guys, as much as I want to tell people na it's not it's matipid or something, pero sobrang gastos and it remains to be a privilege. So, I envision the future of Philippine cinema na malaya, na Cinemalaya isn't malaya because hindi naman talaga malaya ang pelikula sa sitwasyon natin ngayon. And yun, sana makawala na tayo sa tourist conventions and mas marami tayong kwentong marinig. At hindi lang, at yung cinema ay backbone siya ng community, no? Para maging, mas mag-organize sa mga tao. Yun.
So, okay. Thank you kay JT. So now, let's see. Since kanina, sa first part ng presentation ni Kuya JT, nakita natin yung isa sa works niya sa Cinema One, yung Buntiyaya. So before we head to our question and answer from our audience, so let's watch our speaker's work, yung Buntiyaya. And while the video is playing, you may put your questions sa chat box, everyone. Okay, so ITCG Tech, let's play the video. Yan.
Papasok ka reyna, sasayaw ng tiyasa. Buntiyaya, buntiyaya, buntiyaya. Buntiyaya, buntiyaya, buntiyaya.
Okay, so thank you to our ITCG team. So now we are now ready to accommodate the questions from the audience. So Kuya JT, are we ready?
Yeah, go lang guys.
Okay, so for the first question, so this is from our team. What motivated you to pursue filmmaking? So, what was your inspiration daw po?
Oh, actually, sige, para as a high student before, I was really confused before I entered senior high school. I was planning to take up multimedia arts talaga. So that's why I transferred to another school na may arts and design. So yun lang yung first ko. And then while we're doing this sa school year, sa journey, like parang we were always asked to do films. So parang parang I see myself doing this in the future. Na parang as someone na before very science and na math person talaga. Parang very So ayun, parang mas nakita ko lang yung essence ko as person. Parang ito yung calling or something. Wow.
Okay, so thank you, kay JT. And now for the next question. So this question is from Gia Jarin, okay? So if we plan on making a film that shows the marginalized or sensitive issues, how do we make sure that they'll be tackled appropriately? Thank you po. Okay.
Okay,
So,
sige.
yes, okay.
That's a very good question, no? Sobrang dami natin na, especially gusto natin gumawa ng mga films na socially relevant. And paano ba natin i-represent yung mga tao? First, how do we make sure that they be tackled appropriately? Dapat lumubog tayo sa karanasan nila. Marginalize sila and di natin first hand nararanasan yung mga nararanasan nilang struggles. 'Di ba? So, kailangan natin maintindihan yun by immersing sa community nila or something. Tapos, yung pag kumukuha rin tayo ng actors, kunwari sa LGBT films, we don't cast. Ito, personal preference lang to. We don't cast, hetero people. Kasi, these struggles aren't something that you can study eh. These struggles are first-hand and parang bukod sa kwento nila sila. Oh my God, sorry. It's their story. Parang ang struggle dito ay paano, kailangan din natin makita yung mga nakakaranas nito, na makita nila yung sarili nila sa screen. So, ganun, dapat tayo maging sensitive when it comes to that. At hindi lang at kung magagawa tayo ng mga kwento tungkol sa mga mahihirap, hindi natin sila i-exploit. Hindi natin, kunwari, hindi tayo kukuha ng shot na parang yung kubeta umaapaw na parang, wow, that's how they live. Parang ganun. Parang, no, you don't exoticize them. You empathize with them, you know their struggles, and tandaan natin na hindi lang doon ang definition ng pagkatao nila. Diba? Yun lang.
Okay, so thank you po kay JT. Now, let's proceed to the next question. So this is from Ivy Strings or First Strings ka naman to. Good afternoon po. Tips po sa paglalapat ng audio, especially kapag conversation sa maingay or outdoor na environment po. Thank you in advance. So, more on editing. So, what's your take on this po?
Mahirap to kasi usually, meron tayong boom mic or something na lapel na pinang-record para maiwasan. Tapos meron ding mga settings sa audio recorder na yung sensitivity issue. Parang hindi siya makapagkalat masyado ng noise. Pero if hindi talaga kaya, maganda rin option yung dubbing. Pero i-make sure natin na hindi lang yung dub yung naririnig. Kasi when we edit naman, hindi naman, when we look at the film or we listen, hindi naman boses lang yung narinig. Kailangan na. So, dapat may noise pa rin and kailangan natural pa rin yung dating doon. I hope it helps. Pero may mga audio, software na ginagamit.
Okay, so Ivy Springs, I hope na na-take note mo yung sinabi ni Kuya JT. And now for our next question. So this is from Julian Rose Reyes. So what's your take po sa paggamit ng sexual abuse or rape storylines for the plot? Or how can it be tackled better? So medyo
Sobrang sensitive nito, no, na topic. So, unang-una ang hirap kasi lalaki ako at usually nang ganitong nangyari sa babae. So, hindi ko alam mismo yung karanasan ng, like, alam mo, ng ganun. So, bukod sa sabi ko kanina na lumubog tayo, siguro iwasan na rin natin na pakita ng graphic yung scene, yung eksena. Kasi, painful to watch to para sa mga biktima. And, let's be careful na baka maging plot device lang yung rape. Like, what happened sa Ang Huling El Bimbo the musical. Naging plot device lang siya. Parang, sobrang injustice yung nangyari sa babae if you're gonna analyze it eh. So, para makatulong, magbasa tayo ng feminist text at sana yung feminist text natin ay yung talagang inclusive sa lahat, no? So, ano ba? Huwag na natin pakita natin na hindi nila kasalanan. Sana may redeeming quality pa din sa huli na hindi nalulugmok yung babae para hindi maging hopeless yung situation. Ganun.
Okay, so thank you po, no, Kuya JT. So honestly din ako, I've observed that kind of trend among filmmakers that they're using, the struggle of some women as a plot device para lang mapaikot, like it's mapaikot yung story, and it's somehow not good talaga to romanticize such things. So now, while we wait for other questions, no, Kuya JT, I would like to ask you something. Earlier, you've mentioned about yung media, filmmaking, na we are at a critical time. Kasi 'di ba, we can't express freely whatever we want to say. Kasi 'di ba, we know about the government, their tactics lately. And by that, what is your take on ABS-CBN's shutdown issue? Kasi this is very much relevant to our topic since they are making they are one of the main filmmakers in our country, and of course one of the main media giants in our country na matagal na, for more than 50 years or 70 years na halos. So what's your take on this po?
So of course, as someone who is doing a major in communication, talaga ito, no? Pambabastos talaga sa karapatan natin, sa press freedom natin. First, ABS-CBN, wala silang violations and all. Pero pinagpipilitan ng government. It's like the Congress is discrediting all these esteemed institutions na nagpatunay na wala namang struggles. And bukod doon, we should take note that ang daming employees ang nawala ng trabaho and they should do this in the middle of a pandemic. That's very problematic, of course. And to take note din na ang daming stations, franchises ng ABS-CBN na parang nag-deliver in other languages na nawala, yung film restoration nawala. And it's very problematic, lalo na ngayon, hindi lang naman yun yung atake sa pelikula. FDCP wants, di ko alam kung patay na ba ito, pero alam ko, gusto ng FDCP na basahin yung mga scripts na mga pinapa-upload sa why read the scripts, diba? Pwede namang yung production lang mismo. This is censorship. This, pananapak sa press freedom. So, yun lang.
Okay, so grabe. Parang, I think we all share the same sentiments na it's not really right to treat that na parang nakafocus lang yung galit ng government in just one family, and yet 11,000 employees or other subcontractor companies were affected. No, it's a domino effect, and it's really something that we should be bothered. Not only because, of course, filmmaker ka po, and kami naman students who rely heavily on the information and the art that ABS is actually doing. So, thank you. So, thank you, Kuya JT. So, now this is from anonymous na person nagtanong. So, what stereotypes in the Philippine cinema you think should be broken? So, this is very timely, no? Like we've mentioned kanina na may stereotypes, may mga ginagamit yung mga babae as device plots. So what's the stereotype na gusto mong matanggal sa Philippines?
Siguro first, when it comes to gender, sobrang problematic ng pag-stereotype. Pansin niyo ba na ang laging sinasapian sa mga horror films ay babae? Bakit? Dahil ba fragile sila? Ganun ba ang connotation? Wala pa ako nakikitang film na nag-focus na sinapian ng isang lalaki. Anyway, if di ko alam, just share it to me. Pero if ever, minority pa rin sila. Di ba? Parang, ano ba to? As parang, yung mga when it comes to LGBT stories na parang films device ganda, ganun ba ang gays ba ay for comedic relief lang? When it comes to lesbian films, male gaze pa rin eh. Ang sex scene sa mga lesbian films ay fetishized. We don't, like, pwede namang implied lang, maganda yung portrait of a lady on fire if we're going to, sa sex scene ng lesbian films. Yung iba parang, wala, blue is the warmest color, sobrang niya. Wala, sobrang, yun, necessary ba siya for the narrative na pakita yung ganong sex scene? Sana lumabas tayo sa mga ganitong conventions and yung stereotypes na ang mahirap, powerless, and mga ganong stereotypes na dapat natin iwasan talaga. Dapat, makakatulong to yung mga tawag doon, pagbuo sa character. Ibig sabihin, hindi buo yung character mo. Kaya nag-refer ko sa stereotypical na qualities eh. Actually, basically, dapat iwasan siya in general. Kasi parang excuse na lang siya. Yun lang. Yan, yung mga gay men na laging pinapakita na kaaway ng girls. Oo, bakit kaya? Diba? Question. Yun lang.
Okay, so thank you po again. So this question is from Ashki Badong. So what are your thoughts on the overanalyzing of movies? So like this refers to the story the filmmaker wants to tell versus the story the audience sees. Parang whose story is the right one? Parang what are your thoughts on this and what is your take?
Okay. When it comes to overanalyzing, parang magkaiba naman ate yung overanalyzing, pati yung magkaiba yung take ng director and ng audience. Because once you screen your film, hindi mo na siya pagmamayari. Wala kang karapatan, wala kang pananagutan sa mga audiences para explain yung gusto mong iparating sa kanila. When it comes to analyzing films, hindi tayo, like kunwari, hindi tayo ganito mag-analyze ng film na coming of age story, tapos biglang, about Duterte, ba't ganun? Parang, wala sa context ng pelikula eh. So, kailangan, din tayo kung humuhugot sa context ng pelikula. Magandang leading take note, against interpretation si Susan Sontag. Sobrang, ang dami na kasing arising interpretations, diba, when it comes to film na, overanalyze na wala naman talaga sa context ng pelikula. So, ayun, may karapatan din ng audience, of course, to say what they think about the film. So, basically, usually, madalas na nag-iiba yung narrative ng director and the audiences. So, ayun, kwento naman nila yun eh. So, pag nilabas mo yung kwento nila yun, yeah.
So, next po na tanong. So, this is from me personally. This is in connection to our previous discussion about media and press freedom and other things. Gusto ko malaman yung take niyo po if even if we are already in a dire situation with the government na sinesensor lahat, they don't want us to be critical of their actions, should we as students or filmmakers be afraid or stop? Should we continue doing what we want and become a platform or medium for those na hindi naririnig? So what's your take on that?
Of course, we shouldn't be. It's valid to get scared. I get it. I get scared too when we become critical kasi we know that the anti-terrorism law is there and we can be branded as terrorists anytime they want. So, yun, we mustn't stop since we have the platform, we have the means to tell these stories. So we must continue to be rage. We should be angry about this until we get what we want to get.
Okay, so thank you very much, Kuya JT. And now let's proceed to the question. Another question from this is from Ate Bianca Fernando. Okay. So, ano po opinion niyo sa love team na lang palagi sa movies? Like, yun yung sikat. So, ano po yung take niyo doon? I think this is more on mainstream, no? Okay. So,
ako okay lang naman ako roon. Like, ito rin yung kailangan nating i-blur. Like, may line, may hati pa rin between mainstream and indie. Though, okay lang naman siya sa akin as long as hindi siya problematic. So, sana, hindi na lang lagi doon nakukulong kasi ang daming talented artists and marami silang pwedeng kwento pang mabuo, diba? Marami tayong pwedeng i-experiment with the genre of romance. Yun lang, okay na siya sa akin.
okay, so thank you, JT. And now to our audience, do we have, okay, so, wait, I think we have pahabol, sa audience, if you have any questions pa, you can always type them on the chat box. Okay, so this is from Ate Gia Harin, okay? So how do you join contests, like film contests?
Mm. Um, I submit my films to them. So lagi lang tayo nakaabang sa mga announcements, ganyan. So for example, we have a lot of opportunities short films, marami for short film festival. So kailangan lang i-satisfy mo yung criteria nila. Tama ba? Criteria. So yun, maraming Cinema Pua, Indian Film Festival, tapos sa international naman, nag-submit lang din ng film. Ganyan, tapos meron din tayong mga tinatawag na script lab, so laboratory for film, parang dina-develop yung mga scripts. So isasubmit mo rin yung mga films, yung mga scripts mo, then yun, pwedeng sila mag-produce or something. Maraming submissions dyan. So kailangan lang natin maging observe and vigilant when it comes to that. Yun lang. Online camps for
Okay, so we have a question from Christine Saldivar. So do you know of any online camps for filmmaking or workshops po that we can attend, or have you attended some before po?
I have attended some before, pero hindi siya online since wala pa namang pandemic nun. So, nagko-call lang din sila ng entries, mag-submit ka ng stories, ipili sila, or pwede rin magbayad ka, ganyan. I think meron ang Rebelde ngayon. Rebelde, it's, initiative ni na J.E. Tiglao, Director of Metamorphosis. Meron silang, I think, workshop with Ricky Lee for screenwriting, Michael Red for directing, hindi ko alam yung isa, pero yun, pwede nating makita. So, meron ding, quarantine films for regional stuff, ganun. Ngayon, medyo naghahanap din ako. Pero if you guys have, if you want to international market internationally niya, merong film lab na objectives short film incubator. Pero requirement din na may isang film ka na nag-screen international. So if you guys want to submit various scripts, go lang.
Okay, so thank you pa, Kuya JT. And now let's proceed to our last question. So audience, meron pa ba kayong ihahabol kay Kuya JT? Okay, so mukhang wala na. Okay, so for our next question, Kuya JT, for our last question, okay, so in what ways can I improve in the field of filmmaking? So again, in what ways can I improve in the field of filmmaking? So this was asked by an anonymous na tao, okay?
Is that supposedly a question for myself, by myself, or sa kanya ba? How? Because I don't know that person. Anyway,
okay, let's clarify. For you po, so sa inyo po, personally,
how can you improve? Yeah, mahalaga na matuto tayong makinig palagi. Ang pagkatuto ay hindi lang yun hindi yun nagtatapos ang pagkatuto. It never ends. Learning never ends. So, kailangan manood tayo ng maraming pelikula. Guys, I swear, like, kayo sa Asian cinema. Sobrang ganda na Asian cinema. Sorry, Hollywood, but who you? Anyway, yun, mag-improve, din tayo sa magbasa din tayo. Since ito talaga yung mga paraan para matuto tayo. Kapag may gawa tayo, ipakriticize natin sa mga kaibigan natin. Sumulat lang tayo ng sumulat. Huwag tayong huminto. Yun lang, para mag-improve tayo ng walang katapusan.
Okay, so may magpapahabol daw. Okay, let's wait. Wait lang kayo, Jade. Ayun. So, what's your take on pirated films?
Sumulat ako ng essay dito. If you guys, plug ko din pala. I'm a writer for Siniliwanag, indie film publication in the Philippines. Siniliwanag.com. So, yeah, I wrote, this. Okay, sorry for the filmmakers out there, but I'm really not against about film piracy. But of course, just read my essay. Pero ito yung points ko doon. It's a movement to OKS, and it's a movement against elitism in cinema. Diba? We all know that cinema remains to be a privilege. Ang nakakagawa nito, sinong pwedeng makapanood nito? And piracy made its way to reach these people na walang kakayahan para magbayad sa sinehan. And para sa akin, okay lang siya. Kasi you talk about the struggles of the poor, you talk about the stories of the poor, pero sino makakapanood? Mga mayaman. Grabe. Wala tong madudulot na maganda sa diskurso. Hindi nila nakikita yung sarili nila. Pero of course, we must think din na ang mga filmmakers na naghihirap din para gumawa ng pelikula. So, ang kailangan, mainin natin anong route kung bakit may namimirata. So, paano ba yun ang tanggalin natin ang konsepto ng pamimirata. Tanggalin natin siya at gagawa natin siya kapag patuloy nang lumaya ang cinema, kapag hindi na siya hinahamper ng mga purists ng cinema, ng mga sa cinema world. So, ganun. Tapos, lumaban tayo na maging community ang cinema. Na hindi lang siya basta ganito, hindi lang siya basta source of entertainment, kundi nag-organize siya ng mga tao. And hindi naman siya mahirap ma-imagine eh. If we can, that piracy doesn't exist anymore because a lot films can reach a lot of people, can reach the grassroots of the community, diba? It's very good to think. So, I really have no problem. Like, when the film festival asked me if they can upload my film sa YouTube, ganyan. Sabi ko, it's okay, I have no problem with, okay lang kahit mapiratayin nila yung films ko, ganyan. Mahalagang maibalik natin yung kwento nila talaga sa kanila. Yun lang.
Okay, so thank you Kuya JT. So, ayan po, may request din po si Ate Bianca, no, na send papers and essays daw, please. So they're very much interested sa works mo. Ayan.
Thank you.
So mahalagang maibalik natin yung kwento nila sa kanila.
Tsaka
okay.
Guys, huwag tayo elitista. Huwag tayo mag-invalidate ng mga film taste ng iba. If they want mainstream, it's okay. If they want art house, it's okay. Yun lang.
Okay, so thank you, Kuya JT. So guys, I hope we learned a lot. So before we present our certificate, no, I would like to thank our dear speaker, Kuya JT Trinidad, for participating and for sharing your knowledge and experience to us students in Makati Science High School. Really appreciate it, and we really understood how things or how the process of filmmaking really happens. No, it's really complicated, and it makes us motivated to appreciate films that we make here in the country locally, and of course other films as well. So okay, so our ready na ba i-present team yung certificate ni Kuya JT? Okay. So, Makati Science High School Information Technology Core Group presents the Certificate of Appreciation to John Thomas Trinidad for sharing his knowledge and experience as an artist to the Makati Science High School student body during the webinar entitled Take One Creative Storytelling, given this 21st day of July 2020 as part of the Information Technology Core Group's Connected program. So again, Kuya JT, thank you so much for being with us today. And of course, to our ITCG team, thank you for helping us. Ate Julian, Ate Bianca, Ate Gia, Kuya Raf, thank you everyone. And of course, to our MVP, Maksay Tagabuhat, Luke Pagawitan. So we really cannot do everything without you. And of course, Maksay, I would like to reiterate what Kuya JT mentioned earlier. So, filmmaking is not only telling other people's story. It's not only telling their story or of those who are less fortunate or those who are unable to speak their voices. But for us who has the means and medium, for us who are privileged enough to do whatever we want, we must amplify their voices. So Maksay, I know that a lot of things are happening, but we are here today and we would like to express our gratitude for being part of this webinar and participating. We know that you learned a lot from Kuya JT, and we really appreciate his knowledge for being with us here and explaining everything everything about filmmaking. So Maksay, again, dito lang kami ITCG to support you. This is just part of our programs. We are always here to provide you guidance, whatever assistance you need. So Maksay, maraming salamat and God bless. Thank you.